Hi, and welcome back to Becca Babbles podcast. I'm your host, Becca. I'm a certified personal trainer, holistic health coach, and future chiropractor on my way to figuring out this thing we call life. Now, let's get babbling. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Becca Babbles podcast, the podcast where we talk about health, productivity, and trying to make sense of this world. I was going to come in here and say, come in with your own drink of choice, matcha, tea, coffee, if that's your thing. But when I was preparing for this podcast, I drank all of mine. So, I hope you're able to drink something while you're listening to this podcast right now. Or maybe you're on a walk and you're holding a bottle of water or something like that. But I very much enjoyed my matcha. It's become kind of like a new obsession for me, not gonna lie. Well, when I say new obsession, like 3 days worth of realizing my school's matcha is actually really yummy. And then I have my own at home, and I drank all of it because that dash of cinnamon just makes me drink all of it. But anyways, I should probably get into what the heck this podcast is about, because I feel like I haven't really done a sit down, talk about my life, chill podcast. A lot of mine recently have been like interviews, or I've talked about chiropractic school and all that stuff, which is like, not gonna lie, I love those episodes and I love doing all the interviews, but I miss just like the chill, we're hanging out, besties chatting on the podcast. And there's been something that's been like heavy on my heart recently when it comes to health and my own health. And I remember, I think it was last year, I think was the last one that I did. I did like 2 episodes about me trying to fix my PCOS and like, I'm going to improve my life and I'm going to like fix all these things. And I haven't really done an update on that. And I had been thinking in the back of my head, like, I need to do an update. I told people I was going to do an update. I told people I was going to like fix myself and heal myself and all these things, and that didn't really happen. And I remember even the last podcast that I did on my PCOS, I had said like I was hoping to come back and say like everything is healed, I am so much better, and I'm the success story and all these things, and I had said that didn't happen. And then school kept happening, and I did get a Dutch test back, by the way. And there wasn't like a ton of stuff on there that we saw. Besides, like, my cortisol levels were great, and I'm trying to remember everything that was on there. I think like hormone levels were great, besides the fact that like my estrogen and progesterone was literally like a flat line. It looked like my hormones were dead. I had a little bump at one point, but like not a lot. Anyways, it got me thinking, like, I was so stressed out about my health and so like grit and bearing, and there was almost this like overwhelming feeling of, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I be healthy like the people I see on social media? Or maybe I just need to like another supplement, another protocol. Why can't I just like do this diet, but then I'm stressed out about money and like I still have school, and then, but like my health is really important, and I tell people if you don't have your health, then you have nothing else. And then I made me think, at what point does trying to be healthy actually stop being healthy? And this is where I decided, you know what? I'm not going to try and heal my PCOS. I'm not going to grin and bear it and try and fix everything. And like, I still want to go through the hair mineral videos and learn about that, because I want to like do that for my future patients. But I almost got to start thinking like, oh, I need to go on a gut healing protocol. That's the reason. Like, I've got skin issues that are popping up, and I know that it's like, it's not really like the acne, the cystic acne, but it's like the redness underneath. So I know that's a gut thing. And then I know like gut can influence the PCOS, and that's creating overall inflammation. If I could just decrease my inflammation, like, I'm going to fix everything and everything's going to be fine, and I'm going to revamp my whole lifestyle. But every time I just kept hitting this wall of like, but I have school and I have work and I have all these other things. And yes, health is a priority for me, and I would never say, like, don't. I still believe if you don't have your health, you have nothing. But my perspective on health and what that looks like has started to change because health is not just about exercise and nutrition. And I think we like to forget that, or at least the people who have the types of mindsets that I do tend to forget that. And if you're listening to health podcasts, having a feeling you have that same mindset as well. Because I moved and I had to become stricter with my budget. And I couldn't afford the expensive protocols or the supplements, and I wanted to I wanted to do carnivore for like for 4 weeks just for like an easy elimination, but then also like kind of try it out. And I had also mentioned like the creating the protocol based off the hair mineral test, and I wanted to do that as well. And every time I thought about doing it, I was like, oh, like I don't know if I can afford that right now being in grad school and trying to make it by on just like paying for gas or like paying for food. And then you've got these like then I get really excited about seminars that are coming up, and then I want to do those seminars because I want to help my future patients and the patients that I currently have in clinic. And I knew for me, if being on a budget, part of that meant for me, like, I didn't use a lot of the money that we get provided at school. I don't know what they call it at other universities, but like Parker bucks is what we call it. And you get a certain amount of money each trimester. And I hadn't used it because I was like, I'm gonna bring my own food, and like I want to control what's in my food and blah 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 blah. Which like totally fine. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just in the stage of life that I am at right now, bringing my food all the time just isn't in the cards. And that's fine. And I'm not saying that I'm like going from eating whole natural foods to now I'm eating like fried chicken and I don't even pizza all the time and all the things, but like I'm still making healthy choices, and thankfully my school gives me access to like there's a salad bar where I can add chicken to it and edamame and like fermented foods, and then the days that like they have the bowls where I can put potatoes and ground beef, or like rice and ground beef and like taco bowls or whatever. Sometimes they have like pho, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this. Like I'm loading up on all the veggies and things, but maybe they're using seed oils that probably isn't super beneficial for my inflammatory levels, or I can't like any other ingredients that I don't know that's in it. Like I know that like I tend to still try and not like eat gluten because I know that's something that like really makes me super inflamed, and so I try and stay away from those things. But for the most part, like I don't know what oils they're cooking in, and I'm not letting myself stress out about that because the initial thought was, I'm not doing health correctly. I am failing at taking care of myself. Why can't I figure this out? What is wrong with me? And I'm promoting on this podcast that like health is important, and like all of this guilt just surrounding like me trying to get healthy. And I don't feel like that is health. And I feel like health should be easier. And I know there's a lot of people out there talking about how, like, you need to create these habits, and, like, if you want to get healthy, like, you have to have this structure, and you got to create these goals and all these things. And no, 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 no. And, like, yes, I see that there is a perspective of sometimes there's a personality type where maybe someone hasn't even thought about their health before. Maybe they've never exercised. Maybe they only get like 1,000 steps a day. Maybe they haven't even strength trained before in their life, or they haven't done like a well structured strength training program and they're just doing constant circuits and stuff like that. Yes, that person may need a little bit more structure. But when I meet people who are dealing with a chronic disease or like things like PCOS and who tend to like lean on more of the like, I'm going to grit and bear it and like lean on this perfection and I'm going to figure this out and I need the protocol, I need the biohack, I need to like, I need the supplements and I need all the things and I'm going to conquer my health. I'm going to figure it out. The over controller, me. If you identify with that, that's not healthy either. The over obsession of health is not health. You should be able to live your life because health is not just the food and the exercise that you put into your mouth. And I completely understand that. Like I want to get better. And there's these like two ways that I can see this because like some people are dealing with chronic pain and their health is like tied to that and changing their nutrition is important and like maybe it's just hard for them to walk down the stairs so like they have to have some sort of like control over their health. Or for instance for me like I'm trying to get a like consistent menstrual cycle and I'm also dealing with like sometimes there's some mornings where I look in the mirror and I'm just like oof, our face does not look cute today. Just for like the redness or maybe another pimple popped on my face or maybe I had another dark hair that popped up and like you start building all these insecurities of like why haven't I figured this out yet? Why does this keep happening? And maybe I just need to like increase my protein more or maybe I need to like start adding in this supplement or maybe I need to jump to this like protocol now. Have you ever tried not controlling? Is my question. And that's something that I had to have like this reality check with myself of how about we try something different? Because if the grin and bear it hasn't been working, maybe let's start learning another way and just enjoying my life. Now I'm not getting rid of my consistent non-negotiables of like, I'm still going to strength train 2 or 3 times a week. I'm still going to get in my 8 to 10,000 steps. I'm still going to eat whole foods, like that's my priority there. And I'm going to eat 3 meals a day. It's really important for me, and I think any menstruating female should be eating breakfast. Those are simple habits, consistent habits, sustainable habits that I will make consistently to keep my health. Because health is almost like this range. You can get super hyper focused on and be on like one way and yet you're like still healthy. Like I'm almost thinking if anyone knows like the Ben Greenfield kind of thing, you can do that. But then you can also be like over here and you're just like, you know what? I'm enjoying life, but I don't really think about health a ton. I eat whole foods and I'm just like enjoying my life and I'm stress free, but yet still I still prioritize whole foods and like drinking enough water and stuff like that. And I think that's where these two health personalities, the over controller and the beginner of trying, maybe they're starting to listen to like a health podcast or something like that. And they're like, maybe I actually do this year in 2026 want to get healthier. These two personalities still comes down to making it simple with habits and consistency that you can sustain. Because on like I'm almost thinking like why do I keep thinking of the wrong person's name and not saying the right person's name? Huberman. Like he talks about, or any sort of productivity thing. Like they always talk about make the habits small, like Atomic Habits. That's the book I'm thinking of, where it's like make the habits simple and small and easy so you can sustain them. And that's where like the beginner, when it comes to health, the mistake that they make is 2026 is going to be my year and I'm going to get healthy, so I'm going to do all the things and I'm going to strength train 5 days a week and I'm going to start running and I'm going to like completely eat whole foods now, even though I was eating McDonald's 5 days a week, and I'm going to lose all this weight and look at me now, I'm going to conquer the world, all these things. And then like 2 months later they come back and they're like, yeah, no, that didn't work for me. Health doesn't work for me. It's too stressful. I can't do this anymore. And then they give up. Or you've got the over controller, more like me, where you like hyper focus on food and all you can think about is like the food that you're putting in your mouth and like, oh, is this going to help me heal? Am I going to like, is my face like going to get clearer? Is my period finally going to come back? And like all of these thoughts that are like overwhelming your brain and you just trying to grit and bear it and make it through life. And what I would say to both of those people is, what are these small things that you can do right now that make you feel good? And that's where I realized, instead of saying, I'm going to try and get healthy and grit and bear it, and almost creating an identity behind being healthy, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to live my life and keep those consistent small habits that make me feel good. So the strength training, prioritizing whole foods, that's not going to make me revert back. But yeah, maybe my face may be a little bit more inflamed. Yes, maybe I might not get my like consistent menstrual cycle back right now. But in the season of life that I am in, I don't feel like I'm dying. Yet I also don't feel like I'm optimized. But I also can enjoy my life. And there's a peace behind that. And if you don't feel like there's a peace behind the protocols that you're doing and the supplements that you're taking and this rigid control of your life, then maybe it's not really healthy. And I know some people would say, well, like, you have to be different to be healthy in this world, because what is quote normal is eating a bagel for breakfast and I don't know, whatever other things that people talk about. I'm so far away from that I can't even think of anything. But that just shows you, like, if you are that kind of person who can't even like fathom eating a bagel for breakfast and you like are getting in your protein intake consistently and you're like, I probably can't go a day without eating a vegetable because I know that like my morning poop isn't going to go well if I don't eat some sort of vegetable or drink a certain amount of water, you probably aren't the person that needs to be freaking out about your health. And maybe you're a new mom and you're constantly being told you need to bounce back and like get healthier and like lose the weight or whatever, and then you disguise yourself by saying, oh, I'm just trying to get healthy, but internally you're like, why can't I get these like last couple of pounds off, or these 20 or 10 pounds or whatever that you've been trying to get off for the like past couple of months? And then you start comparing yourself to people on social media. What if right now isn't the time? And that's okay. Stop guilting yourself into being like, oh, I'm not healthy yet. I'm not healthy now. Why can't I figure this out? I had found myself where, like, growing up, I had struggled with an eating disorder and I had constantly wanted to get a six-pack. I was like, I'm gonna, like, come back this summer and I'm gonna, like, come back to school and I'm gonna have this six-pack and I'm gonna be buff and, like, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, what happened to Becca? And then now I don't typically do that anymore because I realize that like a female having a six pack, you have to fuel your body to like build the actual muscle that's like underneath like the abs itself, because it's still a muscle. But then also like the body fat percentage that I need to get to right now is probably not going to lead me towards health. And so, but then it has now slowly converted to me being like, oh, I'm just going to try and get healthy. So, like, almost switch your mindset to like that person that you sometimes get annoyed with, where they're constantly saying, yeah, I just need to lose 5 more pounds, or oh, I need to lose 10 more pounds, or like, yeah, I just gained like 2 more pounds. And it's like, okay, if you, every time I see you and you say I gained 2 more pounds, it's like you'd probably be like extremely overweight and on like 600-pound life at this point. By the time you keep saying the amount of weight you keep gaining and you look at them and you're like, you're fine. But then you're kind of also doing the same thing when you're saying, oh, I'm trying to get healthier. Oh, I'm trying to get healthier. What if you are healthy right now with the habits that you're creating? And you're just being consistent right now with the habits that you can do in this season of life. And you don't have to create this identity of like trying to be the healthy person. That is, or I don't want to say trying to be the healthy person, but like trying to get healthier and constantly grabbing for something. It's exhausting. And then that guilt that comes with it. What if you are healthy right now? Like, what if your version of health right now is the healthy you? Because you're able to manage it in the season of life that you are in. Again, there's always going to be those like people who, yes, they do need to focus more on their health right now and they need to create more awareness of it. But if like 60% of your day is based off of some sort of guilt related to your health, or you trying to find the next protocol thing that's going to help you heal and get better, and there's not joy that comes behind that, and you're having to miss out on like social things that actually fill up your cup, then I'd ask yourself, is the way that you're living right now actually healthy? Because the way that you think in your stress levels and the way that you feel inside your body is tied into your health as well, not just the what you put in your mouth and the exercise that you do and what your Fitbit or Aura Ring or Whoop, whatever it tells you, with the amount of steps that you take. That is not just your health. There's more to that. Almost think of it as like a pie chart, where I'm thinking what most people think of like health is like half and half. Diet, exercise. If I get these in order, or like maybe you're dealing with some gut issues, it's like diet, exercise, and the protocol that I'm on, and the morning poop that I have, or the going a day without some sort of gut pain. That is health. But what actually is health is a pie chart of, yeah, your diet, yeah, your exercise, but the group that you get to go and play pickleball with that like brings you joy, and it might be a little later at night, and so you might not get the like 80 points on your Aura Ring sleep score, but like you laughed and you had fun and you created memories. Or maybe it's the church group that you go to where it fills you up spiritually and you get to learn more about the creator of this world and the conversations you get to have with your friends. That fills you up for the rest of the week. That is also part of your health. And being able to wake up in the morning and have this sense of peace to get you ready for maybe the stressful day that you're about to encounter, but because you filled up your cup in the morning by getting in enough sleep, letting yourself sleep in, and maybe miss the gym that day because you had a late night the night before, gets you ready for the exam that you're about to take. Health is variable. There is no set plan or outcome that shows that you are healthy. My version of health is going to look different than Susie's version of health. But what really matters is if you ask yourself right now, do you feel healthy? Do you feel energized most of the time? Do you have a consistent bowel movement every day? Do you feel like you get enough sleep in? Do you feel strong? Do you feel like you can conquer the tasks that you have set for the day most of the time? Then I would say you're healthy. Yes, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to get better. But if there is this underlying shame and guilt that comes alongside of you trying to get healthier, that's not health. You shouldn't feel shame and guilt because of the way that your body looks, because of what you are doing or should be doing. That is not health. Health should make you feel more energized, should make you feel more empowered, should make you feel strong, should make you feel like you can laugh more and have fun and be more at ease and like have like space to think. That is health. And I think because we're in this world of seeing what everybody else is doing, it's really easy to compare someone else's version of health to your own and question, am I healthy? Maybe I need to do more? When in reality, maybe you don't right now, because that would add more to your stress bucket. But if you are more of that person where you use stress as an excuse, you're like, oh, I'm really stressed out. Maybe I shouldn't go to the gym, and you haven't been to the gym in like 3 weeks. And like you are well recovered, then maybe just focus on going to the gym once a week. Make that consistent. And that's what you can do right now. And I know, like, I still have some things I need to work on. I still eventually want to do a gut protocol. I still eventually probably am going to do carnivore because I want to do an easy elimination for me and then slowly start adding back in foods as part of that gut protocol. I still want to do the hair mineral test and make the protocol for that. But the timing is what's important. Being in grad school and I'm now in clinic and I'm seeing patients and I'm trying to research stuff on that. I've got my the club that I'm a part of where I help students like learn how to feel joints and adjust them. And then I'm also doing this podcast. And in addition to that, I tutor, I have that job. And then I'm moving to Missouri for my internship. And then that's going to be for 3 months. And then in May, I'm taking my last board exam. So I got to study for that. And then I will be graduating in August. And then I may be moving again to a totally different state, but I don't know because like no contracts are signed. And then at that point, like I have to get a job at that point. So there's a lot of things that I'm juggling. And right now I don't have the space in my mind to focus on a protocol. And that's okay. That's not saying I will never do it. And for that mom that is a new mom with a baby, it's not saying that you will never again focus on your health a little bit more intently or like really start getting back at the gym and like be that like muscle mommy. But you can keep up with the habits that you can do right now that make you feel good. And to be completely honest, it's making me almost prioritize what really actually helps me with my health, because you can go through the internet and it's like, okay, now you need to do ice baths. Now you need to take this supplement. Now you need to do red light therapy. Now you need to do a glucose monitor. Like, it's almost all these like things you got to pile up, and it's like 2 hours and you've like in your day. And it's like, well, I got other stuff I got to do. Like I'm not just a social media influencer that gets paid to do all these things. But yet those people are the ones that we typically see on social media and we compare ourselves to, that we're not skinny enough or healthy enough or whatever statement that you're saying in your head. But I would say, if you're like me, tell yourself, I'm doing the best I can right now, and that's good enough. But I know I need to add in these other things, or maybe there is something like I need to work on and fix, and I firmly believe like, yes, I need to get like a consistent menstrual cycle at some point. Like I need to focus on that and probably do a gut protocol and all those things, but right now is not the time. Or maybe you're that person where you're like, I know I would probably be healthier if I lost like a couple pounds, or I would just feel better in my body right now if I lost a couple of pounds. But right now you're just like, I don't have the mental space. And that is okay. Maybe it's like a really stressful season for you and your family. Don't put more into the stress bucket, but say, okay, right now is not the time. Okay, first, there's two things I'd say. There needs to be like a mental space that you have for something, for either like losing weight or doing some sort of gut protocol if you actually want to do it right. But then there's also like is your physical body ready? Because for me, when I think about I'm going to do a gut protocol, but I also know like yes, I have added on some like weight, needed or not, that is dependable, but like yes, I would like to go on some sort of like cut at some point. But I also know if I get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to lose weight, I need to prep my body and prepare it and make sure it's ready. If I am eating unintentionally because I'm not tracking my food right now, like I have tracked my food for a long period of time, so I know what roughly like 4 or 5 ounces of meat looks like for me, and roughly amount like how much carbohydrates that I need at each meal and like what makes me feel good. But then I also ask my body like, okay, am I full? Do I need more food? But let's say I get to I'm like, okay, I've done the gut protocol, I'm feeling better now. Now I'm like adding in more foods, and that's great. But then I start tracking and I'm like, oh, whew, we're only eating 1,800 calories. Well, I'm not going to cut from there. At that point, I'm going to have to do what's called a reverse diet, where I slowly, incrementally increase my calories so then I actually have a runway to lose that weight. What most people do is they're like, okay, 2026 is my year. I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to get healthier and I'm going to feel my best. Let's start eating less now. I'm going to cut out carbohydrates. I'm going to stop eating fats, or I'm going to do carnivore diet and I'm going to lose weight because like, well, I guess I would be like cutting out carbohydrates at that point, kind of. Or whatever other thing you want to do to like lose weight. And that usually ends to a chronic dieting cycle where they're like, I don't understand why I didn't get healthier. I don't understand why things aren't working out. Well, it's because you took the wrong approach. You have to make sure your body is actually ready physically and mentally for the things that you're going to do. And so for me right now, like I know mentally, I do not have the space right now, financially and mentally, to do a gut protocol. But I will in the future, after I graduate. I intend to do these things because I will have the mental space to actually do that. And I also want to do it because like I want to be able to communicate that to my patients, because I feel like as a practitioner, I should do the things. I should have at least done the thing before I recommend the thing. So if you keep fighting with your body and feel like I can't lose the weight, I can't lose the bloat, I can't fix my health, it's like, mentally, do you have the space to actually do it? And maybe that's why you keep failing at it over and over and over again, quote, failing. Or is it physically your body is not ready? You haven't given it the adequate nutrients, the adequate calories to actually perform the task so that it feels safe while it's like trying to heal. So I'd invite you to change your mindset. Instead of saying, I'm going to try and get healthy, that you're just living a healthy lifestyle with what you have right now. Find out what are your non-negotiables so that you feel good. You don't have to go to the extremes and add the like 5 million different supplements or the red light therapy and all the things. For me, if like you want to give yourself some context of like I don't even know what like living healthy looks like, I would say 3 meals a day. Make sure they have protein, fats, and carbs. Make sure if you've never tracked your protein before, I recommend tracking your protein so that you like actually have an idea of what that looks like. And I firmly believe like usually if you hit your protein, then like everything else starts to fall into place. And getting at least like 1 gram per pound of body weight, like that tends to make people eat the amount of food that they need to eat and help them build the muscle alongside of that and give it the fuel that it needs to, or sorry, the building blocks that it needs. But also don't like skip out on the carbohydrates because that's going to fuel your workouts and get you like actually able to like push the heavy weight to build that muscle that will make you feel stronger and also like help with your glucose levels, your blood sugar levels by being able to like make space for the glucose that you eat to go into your muscle, but then also just like the protective effects that like muscle has. There's so much research coming out on that, but you have to provide the body the fuel for that. Also making sure that you get in your fats. Like if you're struggling with hormonal issues and you're not eating enough fat, like there's an answer right there. Like that is why that tends to be a non-negotiable for me. Strength training, you don't have to do 5 days a week. You can do 2 to 3. That is okay. Like, if you are doing more than that, it's typically because you're doing some bodybuilder split thing and you end up skipping a day because, like, something tends to happen, especially if you're living a busy lifestyle. But if you do 3 to 2 full body workouts a week, you are pushing with enough intensity, you're giving yourself adequate recovery, and you're actually hitting each body part. Like let's say like something happens and you got really crummy sleep, but you know sleep is really important to you because that makes you feel good for going into work or to taking a test for school and you can actually think good for your test. And you end up missing that workout. That's okay because you had one day where at least you hit something. And probably if you're in this state, like you thinking about like trying to add on muscle mass right now is probably not your main priority and that's okay. Like just living in your body can be something that you can do and that's okay. I think sometimes we get so hyper focused on like always having to have a goal and going after a goal because if you're not like I'm thinking of the quote of it's like if you're not growing you're dying. It's like you can kind of be content in like a portion of your life because most people, again, going back to the pie charts, I guess like my new thing in 2026 is comparing everything into a pie chart. Is like you can have your health as part of your life, but then you also have family. You have me, I have education, your job, career job, whatever you want to put in there, finances, like these are all parts of your life. And so maybe right now, like health is not like a half of it. Maybe it's just like a quarter, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're not healthy. For me, another non-negotiable is getting 8 to 10,000 steps in a day because movement and blood flow and getting out into the sun and getting some sort of sunlight usually comes alongside of getting my steps in. Like that just makes me feel good. And again, feeling like my brain feels better and I can think for my patients. Like that's why I get in the steps. It's not because I'm trying to lose weight or gain muscle or whatever. It's because it makes me feel good as a human. And movement, we get so much benefit from just moving and getting blood flow in and thinking better. That's why I get in the steps, not just because I'm trying to lose weight. And I feel like there's something more impactful to being like, oh, I'm only at, 2,000 steps today. Maybe I should go for a walk because I want to sleep tonight. But then I also, I have some brain fog right now. Maybe it's because I've only gotten 2,000 steps in. That's why I prioritize the steps. And then whole foods, like that makes my digestion feel good. That makes my that allows me to think better. These are the reasons why I do those things, and I'm able to stay consistent with those things. And maybe for you right now, doing those things aren't easy for you. So pick one of those, start working on them. Or maybe you're the person right now that has the giant to-do list of things that quote make you feel at your best. What are the things that you're seeing yourself right now that you're actually able to commit to? So then you don't feel like you're constantly getting to the end of the day and you're failing, because you're not. You just have a lot of things on your plate, and that's okay. Instead of feeling like you need to panic and tighten up and restrict everything, maybe what your body actually needs is time to readjust. For me, going back to me trying to be I was going to heal my PCOS. I think in this world of social media and Amazon and trying to get everything quick and fast and all these things, I was thinking that I could do all these things and things would instantly change. But also, if you're that person who is in a state of I know I need some healing that I need to be doing, but right now I just don't have the time, just trying to be healthy and being content in what you're doing and hitting those non-negotiables will also help you make progress. It might not be as fast. It may be, actually. It may, because you're trying not to control everything. It may actually do more than you think it is. But for me, these are some things that I've had to tell myself is I had years of an eating disorder, years of being underfed, undernourished. My body is not used to being fed. I spent most of my life being undernourished. So my body's going to take some time to feel like it is being nourished, feels safe, has the ability to start to heal. So me just trying to be consistent with these things and actually asking myself, am I full right now? Those are things that are actually going to lead me more to health than trying to control everything and think that well, I have to hit these nutrient targets, or I have to hit this certain calorie intake because this is what I think I should be at, rather than asking my body where it actually feels its best. And I think what tends to happen, or at least what I've noticed for me, is I know where I need to be and I know what I need to be doing, but then something happens where I have extra water retention or my digestion changed, or I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my goodness, it looks like I just gained a couple pounds and or 5 pounds or whatever. And you start to have this utter panic and tightness, and you start to restrict even more, and you're like, okay, maybe I need to add this supplement, maybe I need to start doing this thing. It's or your body is just adjusting. And there is something to say about if you have been undernourished for a while, your body may start to hold on to the fuel that you're using, but that is okay. That doesn't mean you're not healthy. That doesn't mean you're going to become obese. That just means your body needs to feel a little safe right now. And there's tons of studies where, and if you even see undernourished kids in Africa, where it's they tend to have that the belly because it's protecting its vital organs. That may happen to you for a little bit. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it's going to be there forever. If you stay consistent and actually keep fueling yourself enough, your body will start to feel safe and it may start to change again. Also, I had a lot of this under eating when I was in my growth stage as an adolescent, where it's now it's no, I need to actually be in more of a female body. Clothes are going to change. My body's going to change. I'm going to be in more of that preteen state where people are you kind of look a little odd right now. I skipped that stage. So now I might actually have that right now. But again, that doesn't make you less of a person. That doesn't make you less healthy. It just means your body's changing and getting where it needs to be, and that doesn't mean it's going to last forever. If you know what you are doing are healthy habits, you will gain the health that you want or feel like you need. So give your body some time. Don't let yourself spiral and then like start jumping to something else, because I know I do that a lot. Is I start to like jump to the next thing because I'm like, oh, well, this thing happened, so now I need to like start doing something else. You don't need to do that. And knowing that I had mentioned before, like the one night where you go and play pickleball late at night, or maybe you go out for like a team meal, or for me, like once a week, I tend to have my church group and I don't know what we're making for dinner that night. And we tend to also have dessert that goes along with it. Like, that one meal isn't going to ruin your progress. Same thing with the one meal isn't going to make your health. Like, it doesn't make or break it. It's like, what are you doing most days? And what are those long-term habits that you are making right now? What is sustainable for you? And that will help you create change or maintain your health at where you're at right now. So I want everyone to just take away from this episode that health shouldn't feel like this constant stress, this constant guilt or obsession. Like, there's a reason why there's now this category of eating disorders called orthorexia. And I know there's a lot more orthorexia out there than people like to give acknowledgement to. Now, I'm not saying you can't go after health or you can't lose weight, and if you're trying to lose weight, then you're stressing your body out too much, and like, that isn't true health. Like, that's not what I'm saying right now. What I am saying is you shouldn't feel guilty for the things that you have or have not done based off of your health. You shouldn't feel like the healthy habits that you're doing adds even more stress to your stress bucket, because the point of being healthy is to have peace and to feel like it is giving you back energy into your life so that you can go out into the world and do the things that you were made to do. Whether that is to help your kid get through school, whether that is you trying to make it through grad school, whether that is you treating patients that day, or whatever your job is. Health looks like being able to be strong and lift weights at the gym, being able to go for walks and not being in chronic pain, eating balanced meals, and like being able to laugh in life. Whether that means that you're eating pasta and ice cream with friends one night, that's not going to make or break your health. And then those times where you do finally have the space, then you can get a little bit more nitty-gritty with your health, so then you can come back to this place of consistency and enjoying that occasional pasta and ice cream with your friends. So health shouldn't take over your life, your entire life. It's probably not health if it is, if it is taking over your entire life, because if it is, that's just another form of control that you may need to let go. Real health should support your life, not just run it. So I hope you found this podcast helpful. This is a topic that is really near and dear to my heart because it's something that like I struggle with myself. And I see a lot of people hurting because of it. If you have any questions or just like want me to talk more about this topic, you can reach out to me at Becca Ann Wellness on Instagram, or at Becca Babbles podcast at gmail.com. I would be happy to answer any of your questions that you have with this, or if there's another podcast episode that that you would like me to talk about, I would love to hear your messages. Also, I ask if you could please leave a 5-star rating and review. That helps people like you reach the podcast more and actually like get my message out to people, because I feel like there needs to be some peace along health that there isn't right now, without the guilt aspect that comes along with it. And with that, if you could share this with a friend that you feel like needs to hear this episode, I would be extremely grateful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I can't wait to babble with you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Becca Babbles podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, the best thing that you can do is leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or any other listening platform of your choosing. If you want to learn more about me, you can do that by following me on Instagram at Becca and Wellness, or by checking out my blog, freebies, offers, and newsletter on my website at beccaandwellness.com. If you want to share the love of the podcast, you can do that by taking a screenshot and sharing it on social media and tagging me and the podcast at Becca and Wellness and using the hashtag Becca Babbles Podcast. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to babble with you next time.